So this Sunday, June 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it's Xbox's time to shine with the upcoming Xbox Showcase. And after the somewhat weak Sony State of Play presentation, many people are hoping that this will be sort of a rebound for the video game industry. When you look at all the companies right now, Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony, they're all kind of in different places right now as far as what the future is going to be. PlayStation is of course content with the PlayStation 5. Xbox seems to be putting stuff on other devices, but are they going to focus in on their own properties and home console? Nintendo is on the verge of releasing a new system, so it's a very exciting time. Now, I was going to make this video on Saturday, but I figured stupid Spawnwave will have his video up on Saturday. Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the Xbox Showcase, and I don't want to compete with him on that. So we're going to talk about the Xbox Showcase today. I've got a brand new Hooters racing shirt on. I like Hooters. I think their food is pretty decent, and I'm going to tell you guys what I expect to see at the Xbox Showcase. Now, to start things off, we'll get the easy stuff out of the way. Game updates, because I'm sure Avowed and Indiana Jones are going to be there. And to that I say, good. I would like to see more of Avowed, because one of my complaints about Avowed, which, I mean, it looked pretty decent, it looked interesting enough, something that I would play via Game Pass, I was kind of concerned about the enemy types, because there weren't many enemy types, and they all looked like small little slee stacks from Land of the Lost 1991. And I know probably none of you watch that show, but you should, because it was cool. And there was like this T-Rex that had a scar on his face, and they called him Scarface. And then like there was a time portal shift, and like this weird big creature came along, and it fought Scarface, and everyone thought Scarface was dead, but Stink, the little monkey, was like, Scarface never die! And I like Stink. But yes, Avowed needs to be shown more. I need to see more enemy variety within this game, and I want to see more of kind of the story, what's happening, what's going on, and why is it happening. And once again, Indiana Jones. I mean, this is one of my most anticipated games of 2024. That is, if it's still going to be a 2024 game. We did see a good bit of this game. Everything we saw looked very promising, but I would like a little bit of an update on that, and potentially a release time frame window, release date for this game, so I could kind of anticipate when I'm going to be playing it. And I think everyone's, cool with that. I think everyone would like to see updates on these two games if you own an Xbox, because allegedly, these are your big games for the year, but we've heard rumors about a lot of other games, so I kind of want to go over the more popular ones and let you guys know whether I think they're going to be fact or fiction. One thing I think is going to be a fact is Perfect Dark. I fully expect Perfect Dark to be at this presentation. Perfect Dark is in a situation right now where it's kind of that old Italian saying that I like to say on this channel, shit or get off the pot, because we have been waiting to see anything from this. Like, what is it? Is it a first-person game? Is it a third-person game? What style of game is it? Is there any gameplay to show? I understand that Crystal Dynamics has now picked up this project for Xbox, and when you think of Crystal Dynamics, you usually don't think of a first-person perspective game. They're usually known for their third-person perspective games. And obviously, the first Perfect Dark on the N64, it was a first-person shooter, but there were some elements when it came to cover and stuff with Perfect Dark Zero that definitely implemented a more third-person perspective. So will it be a blend of something like that? Will it be anything? I really feel like this game needs to be shown. There was a lot of rumors circulating that it was in development hell, but then some other people came along and said, hey, that's not the case anymore. Everything seems to be fine with it. I'm under the impression that this is not going to be a 2024 game, and that's fine. I would still like to see it, though, to give me a little bit of confidence, because I feel like things have just been way, way too quiet in this game. So for me, I fully expect Perfect Dark to be there. I think that is a fact. Another game I think is a fact is Gears of War 6. Now, Gears of War, once again, it's a franchise that was kind of done to death, but at the time, like, it was awesome. It was an Xbox system seller. I bought an Xbox 360, my second one, because everyone was talking about Gears of War when it first came out on the Xbox 360. So I was like, well, I need this game. This is the only place to play it. And I'm glad I did pick up an Xbox for that game and get back into the Xbox 360, because that game is awesome. Now, of course, Gears of War 5 came out on the Xbox One, and I just feel like there wasn't a whole lot of hype and hoopla for it. I actually talked about this with Brett, the editor of this channel, who sometimes, I don't know, I have him editing other stuff nowadays, but he'll come back to this channel at some point in time when I have a bit of a bigger production. But we talked over on the Escapist channel about this, and he actually said he felt like they need to lean into nostalgia with Gears of War 6, because that's something, you know, go back to the more horror elements, have Marcus Phoenix play an important role in this game, and I think that's 100% right. You know, Gears of War kind of has lost its identity a bit, so why not bring it back to its roots? Why not bring it back to what made this series so popular? And I think that's a game that would tremendously help out Xbox, especially if it is an exclusive game, because I mean, that is a caveat that we now have to sort of throw out there with Xbox when it comes to their first-party titles. But I definitely feel like Gears of War 6 is going to be a fact. I think it will be at this event, and I think it'll look a lot better than people are anticipating. You play that Gears of War 5 DLC that's running on an Xbox One, and it still looks really damn good. So, you know, if anyone can get the most out of that Xbox Series X, I feel like it's the Gears of War franchise. Now, something else that has been talked about a bit and kind of rumored is, of course, Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie seems to pop up whenever there's one of these presentations. I'm going with fiction on Banjo-Kazooie. I just don't think Xbox has any desire to make a Banjo-Kazooie style game or a platformer style game, because when you actually think about it, aside from like Blinks, like, what has been a first-party developed platformer for the Xbox? I know Super Lucky's Tale was published by Microsoft on the Xbox, but they didn't develop it. Like, Microsoft has never seemed to care about platformers, and if another company wants to make a platformer for them, then sure, they'll put it on their system because there are indeed platformers on it. But I just don't think Banjo-Kazooie is high on their desire list to make a game for it. For me, it's kind of like when you worked out that deal with Nintendo for Banjo-Kazooie with implementing it into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was the time to have a Banjo game. That was the time to be like, hey, we have this new Banjo game coming out, you know, within 6 months, a year or something like that, if you needed additional time to sort of ride the hype of Banjo-Kazooie being introduced into Smash Brothers, but they didn't have anything. So I don't foresee them having anything with this. I know people want to see Banjo-Kazooie come back, but I feel like it's kind of a vocal minority. I'm just making up words over here. A vocal minority, because the age group of people that can appreciate Banjo-Kazooie, like, a lot of these younger gamers don't know or don't necessarily care. Obviously, Smash Brothers helped with the popularity, a little bit of it, but I just feel like I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Sorry, MVG. I know you're prophesizing that it's going to happen over on Reddit, and that's why you got banned a couple years ago, but hey, I just don't see it happening. Another thing I don't see happening that is rumored is Forza Horizon 6. Now, I would love it, because allegedly, Forza Horizon 6 is going to take place in Japan, and as someone who is a huge fan of the Tokyo Extreme Racer series, like the fact that there has not been an open world racing game in Japan, because it just blows my mind. Obviously, car culture is one thing over there. I'm not a JDM boy, okay? I'm Euro trash. You can tell by the mustache. I like my European cars, but I can appreciate some JDM stuff. The IS300, you know, the early 2000s IS300, the Toyota Altezza, you know, cool stuff like that. You know, some Hondas here and there, the Nissans, the GTRs and stuff like that, the Skylines. But you would have like the perfect racing game and racing area. Plus you would have all the downhill stuff, the initial D stuff. You could live out your initial D fantasies. But for whatever reason, the rumor is that Toyota doesn't want a Forza Horizon to take place in Japan. And if it does, they wouldn't be a part of it with other Japanese companies. I did read that in a few different places online. I'm not sure the legitimacy of it, but I just don't think we're going to see another Forza Horizon quite yet. Forza Motorsports 8, although it was developed by a different studio, it didn't light the world on fire, and it had problems. It should have been an easy way to topple Gran Turismo 7, because Gran Turismo 7, when it launched, it was not good. Like, it was missing a ton of stuff, but now that time has passed and they've added in stuff, minus the tracks. I don't know where the hell my tracks are with this game, but they've added in so much additional content. They fixed a lot of the issues that people had, myself included, with Gran Turismo 7 at launch. Whereas with Forza, it's been like such a slow rollout, and it feels like they've almost abandoned doing like substantial updates to the game. There has been some updates to fix some of the issues that players have had, but I don't know. I just feel like the Forza brand right now is a bit tainted. You know, I could see that maybe at a next year presentation, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be at this one. And one of the latest rumors is that Halo, the original Halo, will be getting a brand new remaster, and this will also be potentially coming to PlayStation as well. I'm gonna say fact on the Halo remaster, but I'm gonna say fiction on the PlayStation thing, because it's just so easy for games journalists to just throw any Xbox game that is announced in with PlayStation now, because you have that door opening, that forbidden door, if you will, has been opened with Sea of Thieves and has been opened with Grounded and stuff like that. So like, people think that any game has a high probability, and I think some games will indeed come to PlayStation. I don't see this being one of them though. I don't know. I mean, there is a chance. There's always going to be a chance, but I just feel like it's too soon. You know, it's too soon to do day and date with PlayStation stuff. It's too soon to start talking about PlayStation on your own show, because you are there to present games for Xbox fans, and most of your Xbox fans are either on an Xbox or on a PC. I understand you want a bigger piece of that business model. You want more money to be coming into Microsoft and the Xbox games division, but I'm not quite sure it's time to do something that drastic. You know, ever since like Starfield was heavily rumored and then everyone pulled back on it, I'm a lot more hesitant to believe that anything major and substantial and newer is going to come to PlayStation like day one, like right alongside of an Xbox version. Now, as far as other stuff is concerned, I mean, really the sky's the limit. Maybe Fable is there. I just feel like Fable's still quite a ways away. Like, I don't know. Like, that would be interesting to see, because I want to see, you know, how they're going to make Fable kind of relevant again. You know, at the time, Fable 1, it was really a groundbreaking game in terms of like how the world sort of reacted to you, but Peter Molyneux just kind of overhyped it. And like, it was still a great game, but it was definitely overhyped. But like Fable 2 and 3, you know, they had different levels of success. It's been a long time since we've seen a Fable game. So I do think Fable could be potentially here, but I don't think it would be something that would get a lot of screen time that's going to be a sort of new release game. And the final thing I want to talk about is supposedly there's a shadow drop happening at this Xbox event. And we've seen Xbox do shadow drops before with games like Hi-Fi Rush, and holy shit, if you're the development team that made whatever this Xbox game is that is allegedly being stealth dropped during this event, if you're that company, you should be scared. You should be scared out of your mind, because hey man, they you know, you better hit some metrics, and whatever those metrics are, you know, you could get great reviews and you could get 3 million plus people playing your game, but that's not quite enough. You're not quite hitting the metrics that Xbox wants to see, even though, I mean, you are a bit restricted by console sales, but I do think there could be a stealth launch of a game. Is Bethesda going to be there? Will this new Doom, Medieval Doom, be there and stuff like that? I do think that will be a multi-platform game, but I mean, Doom's always been a multi-platform game. You know, what else could there be? Honestly, I am excited for this presentation. After the PlayStation one, honestly, it just can't be worse. Like, in any conceivable way, I do not see, and that's not a knock against PlayStation, like, oh, PlayStation sucks, PlayStation 5 sucks. No, PlayStation 5 is cool, but that presentation itself sucked. So I can't see how Xbox could do worse. And if they do worse, I don't know, I'm going to have to rebrand. I'm going to have to become a different channel, because what the hell am I going to talk about? Those are my thoughts on everything happening with Xbox. I'm expecting a good showcase. Maybe not great, but a good showcase. Something better than we saw with PlayStation. Let me know in the comments, though. What are you expecting to see? What do you want to see? What do you desire to see? I need a sip of water. Throat was dry. And as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in or not. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. Hit like on the video or dislike it. Give me your thoughts on what you expect in the comment section down below. And as always, remember, I am the king of Xbox and I am an Xbox YouTuber. Later.